Okay, welcome back. I'll hand it over to Simon from Wiley to take the next round of presentation, getting your message across. Right. So let's hope you can do that yourself.
I doubt it, but I'll try. Thank you very much.
I think you'll succeed. Thank you.
First of all, I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me. I really was very, very happy to get the message from our VP about this opportunity. And also I would like to thank the organizers once again for the fact that I can speak really, really loud in the library. It's been on my bucket list for a long time, so I'm happy about that. And also giving the 15 minutes extra to change my presentation after Elsevier presented, so I think now we're all politically correct and everything should be fine. The title is very generic, getting your message across, but it's actually a slogan of one of the services that we are introducing into our top tier journals at the moment, and I hope that by the end of this talk you will get a glimpse of how we are thinking about the future of video abstracts for some of our journals. Everyone at work told me in order to explain the chaos that follows, I need to introduce myself. I'm Simon, and I have a very complicated background. I was born in Poland, raised in the United Arab Emirates. I call Finland my home, but I moved to Germany from Canada, and this translates directly to my educational background, where I did my Master's of Science in Chemistry from Krakow, a beautiful city, promoting it every time I get a chance. Then I did a Marie Curie early stage training at Max Planck Institute in Mainz, followed by a PhD in smart materials at the University of Helsinki, and that was followed by postdoctoral studies in energy storage materials, so completely out of the scope of my PhD at the University of Calgary in Canada. But I also have a design and art background. I founded 2 companies that make and design lamps and small interior objects, and the other interest that I highlighted would kind of push me towards being a person who likes to create new things. I just like it, and I jumped on the opportunity to get involved with video abstracts on my first day, and I joined Wiley in March of this year as a peer review editor. For most people, this basically is a fancy term for a person who screens the manuscripts that come in and decides whether they go out for peer review, accepts, rejects them, mostly rejects, as Elsevier, the representatives mentioned. And I'm very proud to be working with our flagship journal, Advanced Materials, Advanced Optical Materials, and given my background in polymer science, macromolecular journals. The same people in the editorial office also told me, you must talk about our company. So I do. But I combined the 100 slides that they gave me into this. And what I would like to say about Wiley is that, well, it was founded in 1807, historical timeline, yeah. Founded in 1807 by Charles Wiley, and then it's still a family-owned company in the 7th generation. We have 5,000 people worldwide. Our corporate headquarters are in Hoboken, that's in New Jersey, not to mistake with New York. It's absolutely not New York, it's New Jersey. And we have 4 areas of business conduct. That's global education, professional development, knowledge and learning, and research. We are pleased to have published in the past with 460 Nobel laureates. 800 society partners are included in our endeavors. And Wiley Online Library, WOL, has 130 million users. Over 1,500 journals are hosted there. We have 4 million plus articles and 9,000 books. I think that would kind of summarize what we are about. We are a learning company, and this is what we like to do. When I came here from an international branch that Wiley has, and that's Wiley VCH. Wiley bought Verlag Chemie, which was established in 1921 in 1996, so that's where we got our name, Wiley VCH. And we mostly deal with material science, chemistry journals, some life sciences, and physics. So very, very scientific. The journals that I would like to mention, because we have a lot of them, are the ones that I would consider as our flagships. So Advanced Materials with impact factor of almost 19, Advanced Functional Materials, the sister journal, Advanced Energy Materials, our open access journal, which is Advanced Science, and small are kind of something that need to be mentioned. For the chemistry group, of course, Angewandte Chemie, Chemistry, a European journal, and any of the ChemPubSoc titles should be familiar with a lot of the scientists in general. And of course, as science enthusiasts and promoters, we like to write, and we have our own online news platform, Materials Views, which we try to use to the best of our abilities to promote our authors. The question that Thomas posed in his email was, why are publishers all of a sudden interested in videos? I actually think that I would start with a quote, and it says, "Computers are useless, they can only give you answers." This was said by Pablo Picasso, who is a visionary in his own field, and the fact that even the brightest minds could not actually look into mathematical computing as a way for huge technological progress that took our industry from print to digital and continues to develop is, well, it's just mind-boggling. Recent tech developments such as enhanced compression has resulted in the fact that we can really make all formats as small as possible. We can host huge volumes of data, and currently streaming is something that has enabled significant progress. That triggers our motivation. Hardware, software is not an issue anymore. In all this technological development, we have found ways to communicate and interact through development of social media. So given the fact that YouTube was founded in 2005 and publishers are now actively seeking to promote video content through videos in 2016, I think it's already quite impressive. It's pushing the boundaries, and I think that what we're trying to do is also equally fun and exciting. Why videos? Well, there are some facts. 90% of the information our brain picks up is completely visual. Visual information is processed 60,000 times faster than text, which means that it gives us a platform for communicating our message with reduced complexity. It's been around evolutionary, in terms of evolution, for a very long time. Visuals are what make us see content. Text has been around since for a mere fraction of time, and thus it's not at the same level as visual content. And that's why I think visual communication in the form of videos is very appealing. What are video abstracts? This has been mentioned. Well, basically they're a short summary of the purpose and the results of a scientific study, and contrary to a short scientific video, which I would really like to distinguish, it's associated with a specific paper. To me, video abstracts are an advertisement of the work. That's how I look at it, and that leads to increased visibility and the fact that we can really make our authors pop and stand out from the crowd. It has been shown to impact citations and downloads, and though the data is very empirical, of course, we would like to see where we could take this in the future. So in terms of us wanting to communicate our message across and having a goal to use new media in order to, or current media to push our standards, we need to make that. So the production, basically, I would divide into three possibilities. The first is that the production is done by the author. It's outsourced, solicited to the author by the publisher, and most journals, just like Elsevier and in Wiley, also Bioessays and European Journal of Neuroscience, have that solution to this issue. There are, there is no right way to do it, but despite the guidelines, there's a lot of variation in the quality, which was mentioned, content, length, and standards. We cannot The worst thing that I can imagine is having to write to an author who spent a lot of time developing a video abstract that it's not publishable because the audio quality was terrible and he has to re-record it from scratch. I've done a lot of processing of videos in my past, and I know that even the slightest tweak and detail can result in hours and hours of video processing. So it's all about layering your content. Another thing is that, of course, being researchers, a lot of time and effort goes into preparing that video abstract. That time can be used in many other ways. I specifically like to use complicated or the high-end software, and that takes a lot of time to learn in order to get it to the best possible standards. And then for people who are not tech or media savvy, there's an option to, for instance, go to an external party. There are production houses like Research Square or Editage who do a lot of the animations and illustrations for video abstracts. They are historically come from language editing companies that are venturing off into video processing, which is awesome. There's basically short science videos. They do summarize part of the work of and content of a scientific article, but it's more in general scope. And they are hosted externally. They might be or might not be affiliated with the journal afterwards. And then sometimes production happens in-house. And this is, Georgie, we need to hit a video. This is what I would like to show you in terms of what it means to move a production in-house. Yeah.
After your research article is accepted for publication in Advanced Materials, you may find yourself wondering how you can increase the visibility of your latest research article, or looking for help summarizing your work in a format that makes it easily available to a wide audience. In a world where great research is published every day, it's important to find new ways to get your best results the attention they deserve. To help with this, Advanced Materials is pleased to present our video abstracts, a new product designed specifically to help you get your message across and to get your work the visibility it deserves. Each video abstract is a 2 to 3 minute summary of the results published in your Advanced Materials article. Video abstracts are produced by the team of professional editors who bring you Advanced Materials, so you can be sure to get the quality and expert handling that you've come to expect. Each video abstract is produced using information in the article, including figures and supporting information, together with video animations and other video footage to help bring your research to life. After production, video abstracts can be shared online with colleagues and friends, posted to research and university websites, used to show funding agencies the importance of your work, and much more. Advanced Materials will feature the video abstract on its homepage, as well as on the news website materialsviews.com. After your article is accepted for publication, you'll receive information from the editorial team about how to order. The process is very simple. After you place an order, the video editors will produce a script based on your article, and this script will be sent to you for approval before video production begins, allowing you input into the content. When the script has been approved, video production begins, and in approximately 4 weeks, your video will be finalized and available for sharing. The video team will send the video, as well as links and tips, to help you get your message across with Advanced Materials video abstracts.
So that was what we are trying to push towards, moving some of the, or all of the editing in-house, so that, but this is only for Advanced Materials. I have to say, we are doing this, we are following the The author solicited video abstracts and also collaborating with external parties, but this is solely for our advanced materials journal. The reason for this being is that we want to promote the authors and our content to a broad audience, of course. We want to further increase the visibility of all the scientific results that we published, and this is, of course, at the moment, due to capacity, only restricted to the real best results that we have. I mean, we get a lot of submissions. This journal appears 4 times a month, and a lot of the time we have to deal with choosing the video abstracts that would be would have the best chance of creating a buzz. As a result of increased visibility and going to a broader audience, we're hoping that this will increase impact. Who is the target group of this? Well, firstly, scientists, our authors and our readers, science enthusiasts, but of course, this may be also interesting for funders and other university press officers. The tools that we have, we're really targeting absolutely highest quality of standards. So we have a group of professional editors who do the video processing and motion graphics. They are editors from our journal. The script writers are the people who decide what goes in the journal, so they are the peer review editors. The voiceover is also done in-house, subtitling, and we pay attention that all the stock footage, filler videos, and animations that we generate are up to the standards of advanced materials. The advantages for authors is, of course, the first and foremost that it's time and effort saving, that the production is done in-house, so with very little need for input. The script is written by our journal editors, and of course, it's immediately associated with the journal, so it's promoted on the journal and through all our media channels. Because we believe in the fact that it needs to be part of a bigger group to be discovered. Among other things, of course, like standing out amongst your peers and opening the content, because this is a completely open license for sharing, and the videos are generated from article and supporting information, so there is no paywall behind that anymore. So apart from the open content advertisement and the broad reach, we're hoping that this makes an actual impact. The sharing is done with a very nice Creative Commons license, where basically it's up to the author to do whatever they want with it. The possibilities are endless. I still believe in the fact that these video abstracts could become a content, an interactive content for lectures, where you have video abstracts from different research articles gathered in one and highlighted during lectures as part of a case study or something. Conference abstracts, where you're promoting your research to a conference that you will be attending. During your conference presentations, they can be uploaded to research websites, and also there's a acknowledgement statement in each video abstract where the funders are mentioned, so the funding agencies could use it for their own platforms and purposes. And these video abstracts can absolutely be included in a press package where you're contacting news agencies and television to promote your work, and of course sharing through social media. But as I mentioned, there's this way of doing things, but also other ways of doing things. There is no right way. What I would say is that Thomas asked me to give some practical tips for editing a storyline or processing, and so I just categorized it into the definite do's and the definite don'ts. The first do's is focus on the research author. This is a spotlight tool. This is meant to highlight what they have achieved. Do not deviate from any of that. Know your audience. It's very important to have a clear statement of who you're targeting, because if you want it as a broad audience appeal, then you probably should go into the science news video format, where it's not tied to a specific research article. I would say that the best thing is to, if you know that it's part of a journal, so it's related to an article journal, then you try to ask the editors from the journal who is our target audience. Keep it short and concise. Never, always remember that each single word that you put into a script and make somebody say results in seconds of processing, which means extra footage, which means just get your message across. Like, try to be as precise as you can. There's also something that I always tell my script writers is that they need to try to relate their content. So if you have, for instance, a paper about manipulating objects on a nanoscale, you try to show them the contrast of manipulating objects in the macro scale. So that it's easy to pick up a box, but it's not really easy to pick up a grain of sand. Something that will make people understand the content even without the need to be extremely fluent in the methods and scientific content. Keep it interesting. If it bores you, it will probably bore your audience. If it's not popping, it will not pop. Understand the content is also something that I try to push forward when writing a storyline, because if you're a chemist writing for chemists, it's probably going to go down well. But if you're a chemist writing for an engineering society, then you might encounter some problems. So try to dig deep into what the real content of the article is. The don'ts, complete opposite. Don't be too technical, but at the same time, do not oversimplify. You need to find the perfect balance between the two. This will certainly result in a very good script. Try to avoid information overload just for the same reasons as keeping it short and concise. Processing, processing, processing. It's hours. If you're trying to make a 1-minute video, it's probably going to take you, for somebody who's really fluent and tries to do it to the best of their abilities, it's probably at least 6 hours of work. So generating content. For processing tips, the same applies. Keep it interesting, visually interesting. You try to probably transition your video sequence every 4 to 10 seconds. That's kind of the span of interest to build up the hype in a commercial. And that's something that we try to follow when we edit. When you're filming somebody for an interview, try to do it from multiple angles. So that you can have the voiceover and the informational content from the interview, but from different angles, just to stimulate the visuals a little bit. Try to use good processing software, really. There's a lot of software out there. It makes sense to learn the best state-of-the-art in the industry and try to use it as much as possible, because it gives you elegant transitions and most certainly will raise the quality of your content. Use high quality images, videos and animations. If you can generate them yourself, fine, but if not, there's different stock footage options out there. Try to find something that is fitting best to your video. Motion graphics have been around for a little while. They've been developing quite significantly, and I say it's fantastic what we can do with After Effects, but it takes a lot of time, and it of course takes a lot of time to keep up to date with the current trends. They change all the time. This is basically a bling thing at the moment. Observe and get inspired. Don't copy, observe, get inspired. When you're out of ideas. There's a lot of content out there to draw inspiration from. Trust your instinct on that. Audio, something that Martin already mentioned. Audio quality is extremely important. Remember that when you're recording the interview and also processing, there's only limited options that you can do with final processing to raise the quality the standards of the voiceover. The same applies for lighting during an interview. Try to keep that under control. Use the proper lenses when you're filming. And some people suggest that don't use music. Some people say that maybe music is a good thing. Find the fitting music. If you're talking about solar cells and you have a hip-hop music behind you as the background, then maybe it's just not going to work. But something appropriate would make it tasteful. And to wrap it all up, I think, in 2015 we had an author survey where it was shown that 64% of our authors have promoted their own published work in the past 12 months. That means that there is a need for this. We need to be sure that not only as publishers we try to push it forward and get our authors the attention they deserve. The perspectives, apart from promoting research, I think at the very moment with video abstracts is understanding the interest and demand. This is something, our advanced materials video abstracts are in the pilot phase right now. They should be launched within a month, I hope. And so we need to first figure out how much interest there is from society. We have very promising data, but this still remains to be determined. And of course, understanding the impact. So monitoring through altmetrics, monitoring what sort of effect the video abstract actually has on getting the message out there. And remember that the science of today is the technology of tomorrow. So video abstracts are something that are maybe the thing right now, but just like Pablo Picasso was not sure what sort of benefits we can have from computing, we don't know what the next technology is going to be. As a peer review editor and looking at the scientific papers that come in, I get a lot of weird and lovely stuff. And I have to say that inspires me with a lot of hope that there's many things coming up. Maybe we have virtual reality, fully interactive video content for research articles. That's something to be determined by future generations. I would like to mention my wonderful team. I'm very privileged to be working with a lot of talented and very, very ambitious people. And of course, I would like to thank you for your attention.